In this video, we're going to be having a look at the process of defining, redefining, and living a word. All right, so as much as this process is about defining, redefining, and living a word, it is actually much more than just that. It is the process of defining, redefining, and living parts of ourselves through words. I mean, it is fascinating the amount of dimensions and points that can be opened up within oneself, one's mind, one's life, by having a look at one simple word. Yes, money, the word money is not as simple as it seems, and we can have a look now at step one, the process of defining the word. So what's involved with defining a word? It is actually about defining oneself. A question I have for you is, have you ever sat down with yourself and asked yourself, what is my relationship with money at this point in time? How do I experience money? How do I emotionally react to money? What do I think about money? What comes up inside myself whenever I'm dealing with money or handling money or spending or saving? So for this first step, as an example, what I would like each one to do is to define who I am in my relationship with money. To do that is to do some introspection and also some general everyday life investigation in making a list of all the things that comes up inside your mind, inside yourself, in your inner experience of money. For example, where you can, for example, see, I'm actually afraid of money. I really want a lot of money. I become anxious and worried when the bills come. I am stressing about my future relationship with money. I fantasize and dream about who I'd be and what I'd do if I'd ever come across an abundance of money. Right, so those are examples that you can have a look at. And you can even approach this step right now. Just see from the top of your head what points come up inside yourself in relation to money. So now we've got step one, defining the word, defining ourselves. I mean, for any process that you walk when facing a problem or an experience, it is of utmost importance to first get to know yourself and even the problem in itself, to be able to, from there, equally as specifically resolve it or find solutions for it. And this is where step two and step three comes, which is to redefine and to live. Let's have a look. So the process of redefining a word, which is step two, is, let's take, for example, only one point from your list that we mentioned. Let's say you realize that, you're in a constant everyday stress about your future relationship with money, in what's going to become of your future. You are at the moment, for example, just living day by day or month by month. So it's kind of this nagging thought that comes in the back of your mind, and it definitely creates some stress. So let's redefine our relationship to that moment where that thought of stress and worrying about the future comes up. So here you have to look at solutions. How can you approach this problem point within yourself when it comes to money? How can you change it in a way of rather assisting and supporting yourself? So then, for example, you have a look at, all right, I can stay in this stress and worry and fear and anxiety when it comes to my future with money, or can have a look at sitting down with myself, sitting down with people in my life whom I trust, who, have worked with money or have experienced, a process or a lifetime with money, and come up with plans or ways of saving, of investing, of having a look at, what can be done within my time, during the days, during the weeks or months, where more money can be acquired. So it's like you want to change from the fear of money and the future to planning your relationship to money and the future. Because if you've got a plan, if you've got solutions, ways to work with money that will secure your future a lot more, then that nagging thought that is day in and day out creating emotional stress and fear and worry and anxiety will just start to release over time. So, and this is where the living of your relationship to a word comes in. Because now, every time that stressful thought or fear or experience of money in the future come up, which will essentially now be a habit because you've always just accepted and allowed yourself to remain in that state of fear in relation to money in the future, you have to remind yourself, no, I've got a plan. I'm going to create a plan. I'm going to connect with some people, network, get myself more grounded and rooted and secure in my relationship with money and my future. This is such a simple example of how much we really take for granted in the state and condition, and even emotional state and condition that we live in our minds, day in and day out. We become so used to it, that it becomes oblivious in a way, but it has a great impact on our relationship with ourselves, our experience in our everyday life, and even our relationship with the things we work with in everyday life. You can, even in this moment, sit back and have a look at for how long you've lived in this fear and this stress, but never really looked at this dimension of finding a solution for it and applying and living that solution. All right, so the change process, even from redefining a word and living the word, that's going to be a process in time. You've got to kind of remind yourself and teach yourself in a different way of looking at things, of experiencing, of living. So herewith, a practical example of this process that we'll be walking in soul, of defining, redefining, and living words, where within that process, you're defining, redefining, and living yourself in a more supportive, contributory way to who you are as a person and the life that you would like to live and create. All right. Thank you very much.